Morning folks, hope you enjoyed your weekend. We've still got a day's holiday in the UK, bank holiday, and it's a quite fine day in London, South London. It's a bit cloudy but the sun's coming out and it's going to be a nice day, not as warm as it has been yesterday, more to pity. Right, okay, this was a sketch really, I don't like it, so I'm going to paint over it. I'm going to use a bit of linseed oil on my little lid here, my beer mix lid, beer can. These I buy malts for brewing, and they always give these lovely plastic cappers with some yeast compound inside, so they're very useful for a palette for oil painting. Right, so here we go. So let's just get a bit of blue, we'll have quite a bright one today. I'll get rid of that other blue that's underneath. Just cover over it. You can see how I've clipped the, it's only a 10 by 8, 10 inches by 8, but you see how I've clipped it to the board, and that was a good trick shown to me by Barry. It's been very useful. The larger ones you don't need to, you can clip those or just put some masking tape around the edge, but this is a bit small for that. Let's take a bit of covering on that bit there. And put some white over that. Alright, let's go to some light blue now. Go over that. I'm going to do a meadowy type scene. I like those, and when I sort of run out of ideas for a while, I always go back to the meadows. Of course, they're very, very, very useful. You can learn a lot about texture with meadow painting. I'm going to put a touch of burnt sienna in it. So it's more or less the colour of the orange underneath. So look, it's nice. I've got my loft window open, or one window open, and have to put up with the barking dogs. I'm a cat man myself. We had a wonderful afternoon yesterday. My niece was celebrating her 50th birthday, and they have not a farm, but some fields and a wood, lovely wood, and stables. That's her business. And she's a lovely person. And hog roast. There must have been about 70 to 80 people. We went out on a bit of a shoot with a poacher's rifle. They all had licence, and a shotgun. And we put some cans on some wire, like on the wire fence, and started firing away at them. But we didn't know whether they were holed or not, because it was about 50 yards away. We didn't know, and halfway through the proceedings, a small herd of cattle came by, up to the fence, wondering what all the noise was about. So we lost our sort of target area. But it was great fun. My grandson had a first go at having a go at shooting with an air rifle. Not an air rifle, a shotgun. But the interesting gun was the poacher's one. It's a very sort of, I thought it was a thin shell, and there's some great fun with it. Right, let's put some more of that in there. I'll try to get rid of that line under there. Right, okay. Now we're going to use a smaller brush. Well, not a smaller brush, but one that's worn out, and I'm going to mix up some blue, some red, and some green. And we'll do this texture. I am one for texture. We'll just cut that coming down here a bit. And they live in a beautiful converted barn, you know, some years. And we had a lovely time. It was in Kent, over the border into Kent, from Surrey into Kent. And they had a couple of barrels of beer from the lovely Western brewery, so we had some fun with that. And they had a hog roast, and they had a sort of like a rodeo. It's one of those, not a proper, obviously not a proper one, but it had the shape of a bull, and it was in a circle of blown up rubber ring, rather large, and it was great fun. I didn't do it, I passed all that, but my grandson did, and he got thrown. I didn't see anybody that actually stayed on. That was the fun of it. It's never seen anything like it. Well, none of us had. Wild West in East Kent. No, West Kent. Right, that's okay. Good bit of. I've got their landscape in my head. It was Buttercup fields. I used to have lambing, some sheep, but the travellers got in and let their dogs off the lead, and they made for the newborn lambs. That was terrible, so they don't do it anymore. They do have the right to shoot trespassers if they're going to harm animals, like the farm animals, but they didn't. Because you never know that they come back and do more mischief. Let's just put in some bit of shadowy cloud in there. Not cloud, but some texture underneath the trees. I'm really doing this one for the sake of doing it, otherwise I'll waste my day doing it. I'm doing a barbecue for me and my wife later. But because I paint so many, they can't all be different. I think it's looking better than the other one. I'm just using a bit of clean toweling folk give me their wearing out toweling, and I just cut it into squares or oblongs and use that to clean the brush. And that's Elsa the dog next door. No, it's not, it's Patsy next door. The cat is called Elsa. It's a lovely dog, very noisy dog, but it's a lovely, beautiful spaniel. Beautiful black bitch. She's getting quite old now. She's lovely if you don't mind Elsa. Patsy. Then let's get a bit of colour in here. I don't know how I'm going to represent those buttercups that filled the field. This is, I'm not making a copy of what I saw, I'm just making an impression of it. You know, you just have the memory, lasts you for a few days, and then you move on. But I'm always looking out for things I can work from, but from memory. But it's on the edges of London, but you go through some beautiful meadowlands, and it's very near Biggin Hill. Well, Biggin Hill is where was very, very much involved in the Second World War, because it was in Kenton, which is close, not close, it's close to the east coast of the UK. Biggin Hill, it's in many films. Now this is texture. I'm all for texture. Now the field, well, you couldn't see the end, but the grass hadn't been mowed, and well, I'll put some poppies in, if I, not poppies, but some buttercups, because it's buttercup time. And, it's a lovely meadow, but we haven't had any rain for a week or two, so the ground is all sort of churned up with horse hoofs and cattle hoofs, and it's all very lovely. Oh, I didn't have to put a bit of lighter stuff on there. Just put some air in. Okay, oh, I won't put any cattle, I might put a few lambs in, or I might not. Now I want a brush that I can use for stippling. Well, there's what we've got a couple of these brushes. These are the Chinese brushes. Leo Cornell, China. These were lovely when I bought them. I've had them for years, but now you don't see them around so much. So they've sort of the last lot I looked at, they were quite sparse. Okay, let's use a bit of white in there. Use a bit of oil just to help it all come off the brush. It was just thousands of poppies of these Right, okay, Buttercups. Right, I don't think there's a lot I want to do to that. It's probably not as interesting as the one I covered up, but I've almost run out of MDF. I have 3mm boards, and my daughter-in-law used to get them for me, but she's working at home, and it's difficult for her to go to Leatherhead and then come back to here. So I'm making do. I'm just recycling some of the boards. Right now, the trees were quite distant. Well, let's try a couple of lambs. Let's get this one's a bit brush. We'll make them white. Sort of white. Just giving a little sort of hint of a sheep. From the back, it's easy to do. Whoops. That was not person. This brush is very old now, but it still does the job. Now, there would be a fence along there. Imagine we were shooting over this, and there was a fence here, and all the cows came down and stood looking at us, wondering what we were doing. But so we had to sort of change our line of fire. All right, okay, that's all I'm going to do for that one. Oh, I suppose yeah, it's always worth putting a couple of poppies in there. I wonder if I can get a sort of a better red. Right, okay, it's a bit naff, but it's a very simple painting, easy to do, very limited colour, red, blue, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, cadmium yellow pale, and a bit of Payne's grey. So we don't count that as colour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours. That's enough. You can do. I sometimes do 3 colour ones, just the 3 primaries. Always a good exercise to see how far you can go with the minimum of materials, rather than going out and buying lots of stuff that you won't use, you won't need, and you'll waste your money. I've done that loads of times, so I'm just giving you what happened to me. You build up a collection, you get a paint tin, you know, a lovely tin, got all the colours in, but how many do you use? You only want the basic palette, especially if you're working outside, but that's only my opinion. Your money, you do what you like. Right, let's. I'll put this in the in that black frame that I've got for these paintings. Whoops. Right, bear with me. I'll just bung this in the frame. Once you're enjoying the knife paintings, I love doing them, but they're quite formidable to do on a larger scale than I've done, and they use a lot of paint. Right, let's put a couple of pins in there. One, just two, just to hold it. I don't bang them right in because I'll be using it again. I might. Ah, come on. These panel pins, they're veneer pins really. They're lovely, but they're very fiddly. I've got a load of inch ones. Right, okay, got it. Okay, well, here we are. So it's a little meadow for you to be getting on with. They're a bit even now. I should just change a little bit of that. Right, okay, one here. Okay, well I hope you like that one, folks. I'll get that uploaded for you, and I'll come back and do another one. Next one is going to be a knife paint, so thanks for watching. Bye bye.